Aizen knew that Ukitake possessed the Soul King's right arm, Mimihagi, inside him. When he said that no one stood in heaven, not even you, this proclamation was made with the knowledge that Ukitake did in fact qualify to stand in heaven.
ようこそ私のソウルソサエティへ。仕方ないっすね。挽回、観音開き、紅姫改め。よし来い。まだまだ。
Mimihagi, open the power of your eye, the power of your eye lying in my organs. Forsake my organs and open it. At the age of 3, Ukitake had a serious case of consumption. This is why his hair became white as an after effect. After the doctors gave up on him, his superstitious parents took him to Mimihagi's shrine. Mimihagi was worshipped as a one-eyed god who granted protection to those who offered everything to it except for their eye. However, this entity was none other than the enshrined right arm of the Soul King, which by extension made Ukitake a piece of the Soul King's own flesh. Even Tokinara Tsuneyashiro, the villain of the Can Fairy Own World novels, who knew Shunsui and Ukitake from the past, was cautious around Ukitake as he wanted to avoid provoking the Reio's flesh. As students in the academy, both Ukitake and Shunsui possessed Reiroku, or spiritual power, surpassing all who were in their class with them at the time, as well as all those who came before them. And alongside their tremendous raw power, their skills in battle were transcendent or exceptional compared to the rest of the class, which places both Shunsui and Ukitake in a similar bracket of overall battle strength, with their flash-type speed being portrayed as overall similar. In their Shikai clash with Genryo's side, they both took similar damage. Furthermore, they could both react to Coyote Stark in its released form. While Shunsui and Jushiro are portrayed as possessing two-bladed Zanpakuto, in Shunsui's case, one of his Zanpakuto gave birth to the other, and in Ukitake's case, his dual blade was likely due to Mimihagi's influence. With the blades of Sogi no Kotoware's Shikai, Jushiro is able to absorb the opponent's spirit energy through one blade, then adjust the speed and power with the talismans before returning their attack. The adjustments will also throw off his opponent's perception and reaction. Despite having a sickly body, Ukitake excels in combat arts, with completely maxed out intelligence as well as Kido or spiritual pressure control. But if Ukitake is able to perform this well while being sickly, then how powerful would he be if we temporarily remove the sickness? You see, Ukitake was using a portion of his own spiritual pressure or Reiatsu to maintain his sickly body. And if you were to combine that portion of Reiatsu with the amount that he typically uses to fight, his true spiritual pressure is so enormous that it surpasses characters like Kisuke Urahara, great nobles like Byakuya, those who are comparable to the great nobles like Shunsui Kyoraku, whom Ukitake already rivaled prior to this, and even more Reiatsu than the likes of Kenpachi Zaraki with his eye patch on, the same Shinigami who, while wearing his eye patch, could damage Gerard's body and force him to use his shield all before removing his eye patch. Gerard being the same Quincy who was paralleled with Zaraki to be the strongest, more than likely through the pure force that they can generate. In the anime, Unohana also proclaimed that Zaraki, with his power returned, would not see Royd, who had 70 to 80% of Yuha's power, as a strong opponent. Furthermore, it's likely that Nanao factored Zaraki's spiritual pressure output during his battle with Gremi, which is a Shikai multiplier on top of his eye patch state. If we consider all these factors, it makes Ukitake quite the exceptional Shinigami, alongside a select few from Soul Society's history. When Ukitake undergoes the ceremony called Kamikake, he spreads the influence of Mimihagi from just his lungs to the rest of his body, in effect becoming the right arm of the Soul King itself. In this state, he becomes a massive reishi arm capable of spanning the gap between Royal Palace and the Seirete. Secondly, it covers that massive distance in mere moments, compared to Ichigo's journey from Royal Palace, which took much longer. Thirdly, it's able to use darkness defensively and offensively, since in the manga it generated a wall of darkness to block Yuhabaha. Next, Mimihagi has the ability to consume its target, as it threatened to consume Yuha in their encounter. Its most well-known ability is perhaps stagnation, halting the progress of things with which it comes in contact. A stillness powerful enough to stagnate even the Soul King's body. And perhaps the most surprising abilities of all are the ones centered on precognition. That's right, Mimihagi could see the future. Furthermore, it was immune to Yuha's future sight. According to Yuha, this was because Mimihagi in that moment was the Soul King. Following Ukitake's funeral, approximately 12 years into the future, it is revealed that the spiritual pressures of Captain Class Shinigami cannot be reabsorbed by Soul Society's soil due to sheer density. And since their reishi cannot return to Soul Society Society's soil, a ceremony called Konso Reisai is performed, which sends the captain's reishi body to hell. And since the major forces which held the gates of hell shut have been removed, and powerful Reiatsus like those of the Gotei founder Genryusai Shigekuni and the death sword Yachiru Unohana, in addition to Ukitake, the god sword or Kamikake, the combined Reiatsus in hell have become strong enough to push the gates open, and it seems their hell form might be more gigantic and powerful based on the stature of Ukitake's Sogyu no Kotowari. The upcoming episode should reveal more about Ukitake and Mimihagi's pasts and give us a lot more to work with as far as the lore and power of Mimihagi goes. Cheers!